Money. The topic would be design Instagram only using Google Cloud Services. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so hi everyone. Myself Saptoshi. And yeah, like today I will be the interviewer for this Instagram system design. Yeah. Okay. Mani, can you introduce yourself and then we'll begin?
So that's what myself.
Okay.
Money, you are not audible.
Hello, is it fine now?
Now barely we can hear you. Can you be a little louder by having your mic a little closer?
Yeah, just a minute. Is it fine now? Hello.
Yeah, like it is audible. Yeah, we can. Yeah,
Okay, I think we can continue that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, myself. Sorry. So my hobbies are like playing cricket, that like just to have an interest to learn kind of this kind of social lessons.
Okay, like Mani, your voice is breaking in between. Like it's not clear.
How about now?
Yeah, it's better. Okay.
It's clear.
Cool.
So let's start.
Okay, yeah, I think you can share your screen and I will let you know what are the things you need to design. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope
You can-
my screen is visible.
Yes, I can see your screen. You can open some drawing tools like XD Draw or anything. Yeah. Okay. So like we are planning to like design the Instagram, and as like Instagram has many features, like I would just like to focus on the features that are like important. So yeah, like the first, like a user should be able to create a profile for themselves. And second is like user should be able to create a post. Like they, for now, let's assume like they should be able to like upload an image. And yeah, like they should also be able to like and comment on other posts or images. And one more thing is like that we can cover is like yeah, like whenever somebody like likes or comments on the images or the post, the user should like receive some notification that see like this person has liked your photo or like commented. And also yeah, like they should be able to like follow some other people. And one more thing I would like to cover is like the news feed. So like they should be able to see the news feed in their application when they log in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So these are the functional requirements. And coming to the non-functional ones, like I would like the system to be able to handle like at least 1,000 concurrent image posting and likes and commenting, so that like at once like many people are able to like and comment on it without the system getting crashed. And also it should be secured. Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah. So my voice is clear now.
Yes, your voice is clear.
Okay, so if any interruption, please. So yeah, so like that, this thing is like we are going to design Instagram, kind of Instagram applications with the kind of operating on Google Data Services. So then, yeah, so we have like already discussed about all the things, to like creating the user profile. So for that, like just simple drawing of that, what kind of things we are going to do. So the main thing is that the initial starts with any application. So we are able to go into access like this mobile or like web application. So we will take this. So and think the second part we are going to use like kind of a gateway application. So why we are going to use gateway application? Here already is like in any Instagram or any application. So we have like kind of multiple microservices. So we don't want to call from the front end to individual services. So all requests will come to the API. So from this API gateway, so we can do internal routing of this. So in this API gateway, already we discussed about like Google services related things. So already Google, we have like that kind of a Google Cloud API gateway we have there. So we can use that services. Then third thing is like we are going to use like a kind of a load balance. So why we are going to use load balancer? Because like already you said right, we have to handle multiple kind of concurrent requests on these things. So we can use any specific load balancer for that. Which is we can use like a load balancer, so many algorithms are there. So we can go with a round robin algorithm. So how it will work? So for example, we have multiple instances. So request A will go to one instance, second request will go to the second instance. So like that. So we can use. So this is about balancer. Then
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Like, can we not like do we really need the API gateway or like only the load balancer? Like, can it not work?
Yeah, so we can use this only with the load balancer itself. We can do. Yeah. So, what more security things we have? Means security in the sense like we can add everything in the load balancer itself instead of using this one. So we have used this Google related things, right? So that's why I have added API gateway here. So maybe if you don't want to mix, we can do that also. Because all things we can do in the load balancer itself, like rate limiter, we can apply load balancers, all these things, and which algorithm, all these things we can use.
Okay.
So I'm like kind of now we have like different services, multiple services. So first I put that some kind of boxes, then I will put some example. So yeah. So already we discussed like some things like so user related things. So all we can user creation, then user authentications, everything we can handle by user service. So services this. Then we mentioned like this posting the image content or like all this information, right? So this posting image and giving the command or tag interpretations, everything we can handle by using this post creator service. And this feed, then we are going to see like the feeds, commands, and all these things. So we can handle it with some one more services, so that we can mention that services, feed services.
Okay. One more thing, like how will this client communicate with the services?
It's so once we completed with this, what are the services we are going to use, then we can. It is come from the community. And one more thing is like now the casting Instagram, so all these things we are going to see most of the things are rates related, right? So we can mention that rates related things in this one more services. So yeah, so later, okay. So yeah, so and as you asked, like what kind of communications we are going to use, right? So from this web application to provide this to load balancer, we can go with kind of any APIs based services like HTTPS, security, talking communications. Okay? And internal communication from the services, internal communication. So what we can use, like in that this GCP itself is providing PubSub communication. So for example, like asynchronous wave communication, PubSub it is that. So we want to use, we can use like that one asynchronous. Yes, we can go with the RabbitMQ or Kafka data information communication.
Okay, like sorry to interrupt. Like what you are saying is like the client will communicate with the load balancer using some REST API, and from the load balancer, the request will be forwarded using some pub subsystem. That's what you are saying.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So
but
no,
like
from the
why?
load sorry, Krishna. So from the load balancer, so we need to maintain like a kind of route configuration part, kind of a, so for example, that URL starts from example, like I'm going to login, right? So we have like a URL from /login, right? So from the load balancer, we have to mention, okay, that user with request API contains like a user interface. So it will go from here to this one via normal REST conversation. So internal communications, everything we can go with the synchronization way of communication or using any message these things. So there we can use for PubSubs or Kafka or RabbitMQ.
Okay, but like, can the request that will be coming from the client, can it not be forwarded to these individual services through some kind of a service layer? Like let's say like there is one REST API that says /user/register, and based on that path, the routing service will determine to which particular microservice we need to forward our request.
Yes, yeah, this part only we are going in the load balancer things. So instead of that, we can use the API gateway or any API gateway, load balancer, or HA proxy, or like NGINX, any format of applications we can use. So the main part here we are using instead of NGINX or HA proxy, so we are going with the load balancer here part. So there we need to map the route configurations on this thing. So which service we are going to pass. So for example, user entity, so user entity information, so we can go with from here to user service. So any post, for example, like so this user service will handle with authorization and authentications and along with user creation everything first. So authorization and authentication part. So whether we can go with most of the things like we can like kind of Microsoft authentication. So here we are going for this everything with the cloud-related things, right? So maybe like Google Auth we can use on this thing. So like Google Auth is like OAuth 2.4 we can use.
Okay.
And yeah, and from that, for example, now assume I have logged in. So from that user trying to create any post, right? So how the communication from the user service to post information everything. So that time we can go with this PubSub method, right? So or any RabbitMQ or this thing. So which part from this user service to post service. So if it is like a RabbitMQ or something, so we have to use exchanges, queues, all these things. So this from the user service to post service. So we are triggering that post related exchanges from the what exchanges will do. From the queue, it will find okay which queue I need to put the message from this service to this service. So like that we can.
Can this user service not communicate with the post service using some REST APIs? Like instead of using
we can do. So this any API based applications we are going to use, right? That will come to the synchronization way of. So here, like for example, if you are using that synchronization way of application, right? So example, I'm trying to upload a video. Okay, so it contains like a kind of 2 minutes it will take to upload. Okay? So if you are using any synchronization way of communication, right? So until the video is uploaded completely from the post services or any database, right? So we are going to do. So until this information or we are not getting any success from the post to user, till that will be like in the same view. So we can't do any other operation. So assume like you are trying to upload a video, right? So if you are not able to do any other operations, you are still there in the uploading speed, right? It will not attract the user to this kind of thing. So if you are using any queue synchronization way communication, so simply it will put the information into the queue or anything message information. So from there we are able to once it's done means the user service will do the rest of the operations. So once that information is received from the queue to the post service, so that post application will do that uploading to and storing into the database or whatever it is.
Okay, fine.
So that's why here I have used asynchronization layer.
Okay.
So that's so assume like these are our services. So the next thing is like we are going to use databases related. So like each so we have so database layer. So we can use like a kind of in AWS we can say like RDBS, right? So in the RDBS we have like kind of it will give the SQL based this one. So here we can go with Okay, sorry. So before that, we have to upload a multiple kind of videos, data, database, all these things, right? So for that, what we are going to use Google Cloud storage we can use. So in that, for example, in S3 bucket is there, or Azure, if you are using Azure, right? So we can example like Azure Hub is there to store information. So from the Google, we can go with the Google Cloud Storage. It may contains like a kind of store millions of images and videos of these things. And including this, why I also choose Google Cloud Service. So it is like kind of how high durability to store the information. So that we can use for this one. Okay. And in database, yeah. So database like of things. So we can like a kind of in database we have RDS. Here we can go with like a kind of cloud spanner database. So what it will do, it will give the kind of already last interview itself is right. So we can store any kind of it will provide very good handle in SQL information. So we can use that database here.
Okay.
Kind of multiple databases we can.
So your services will directly communicate with the database?
Kind of that. So in between we can put like any kind of any caching layers. So what kind of caching layers? So why we have to put the caching layers? Right? For example, like I have kind of 100 posts in my system. Right? So every time I'm trying to read that information from my for example, like my photos, all these things. Right? So we used to frequently seeing the data. Right? So we can put that database data information any kind of caching data applications.
Okay, so what I understood is like you will have a caching layer in between database and this services.
Yes. One kind of so what kind of caching we can go with kind of any Redis based caching. So what it will do like Redis is like kind of an in-memory caching and compare it with any other caching. So it is very faster to like kind of cloud cache or cafe cache all these things. So this is a little bit faster compared with other caches. So we can go with some which is information. So it will come from it will try to take the information from that cache database. If it is not that, so it will try to take that information from that our lab.
Like can we not have a kind of a metadata service in between the like your microservices and the database, so that like the user service, post service, or the other services that will be there, they don't directly communicate with your database, and all these connections, like let's say your user profile, like your user service wants to like pick up or like retrieve some data from another database, or like wants to perform some joins and all those complex operations. So in that case, like your user service will have to like communicate with each and every databases that are there.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, I see. Maybe like if you're giving any meta kind of meta application right? So it will. So what it is metadata means it will give the information about that service. So for example, metadata itself we can mention like that, right? So you can create that operation, but idea about it. So that's why I haven't this metadata.
Okay.
So yeah, so we can and one more thing is like kind of so here and we mentioned like kind of multiple databases and multiple accessories, right? So here we need to the major complexity is like how we are going to data consistency between all these applications, right? So for that we can use like one design pattern is there for like Saga design pattern, so we can mention so that we can use. So what it will do, for example, from the Saga design pattern, so for example, like I'm trying to create one user. So what it will come? So it will come to the user service and it will create that. We will check whether the user is already there or not. So we need to register the user, right? So next thing is like the user is trying to post one profile picture. Okay. So from the user service, it will try to post information from that this one, right? So it will create a one event from the user service to post. So this is a user and he is trying to post this application. So once it posted into the account, right? So what it will do, it will kind of any acknowledgement query. It will if you are using like asynchronous, right? So we can kind of acknowledge request. It will become. So this is completely post means it will trigger an acknowledgement even from the post service to user service. It is completed. So it will update that it will complete the transaction from this. So if any failure happens, right? So example like if while we are uploading the file, internet disconnectivity or like everything is due to that we are not able to upload the file, right? So that time also it will trigger.
Last 10 minutes got started.
Yeah, okay, Mani, like let's not focus on this database thing right now. Like let's move on to the next part. Like how will a user be notified when someone likes on their post or comments on their post? Can you give a brief on that?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so like what we are going to do, so this one, so yeah, already I have mentioned like WhatsApp or something like regarding this one, right? So how we can do this? Notifications are trying to handle with this asynchronous way of communication only we are going to do, right? So in that way, so the same way of how I mentioned like the database communication, all these things. So we can go with is event-driven architecture only. So any application, for example, like I'm trying to send any messages from this one, right? From this one. So PubSub or any event based, right? So for example, like PubSub means nothing but like a publisher and this one, right? So when I'm trying to send any message or like post, right? So each post we can mention like any ID. So from that user, so we can, our data is like kind of, I'll show you also an example. Okay, so each post, it will be the data like kind of which type of this one, we can create one key number. So whether it is like kind of like, the type will be like kind of write or comment all this thing. So if it is comment means okay, one more JSON we have to create and what kind of comments they have to all this thing. And from second thing is from which user. So for example, like user A is giving something, right? So user A will give this information. Okay. So this kind of message I will create on data and I will put into the publisher service from the PubSub queue. So it will process the event. So we can use like kind of a notification service consume event is what our service is there. Okay. So it will know like okay whether we need to check like whether we need to should the notify to that user or is the user is aware online, all these things we have to check. If the he is online, right? So we need to send the notification from this service to this service. So what it will do, it will trigger a event from this service A to service B via the notification application. So okay. Once that user is online, assume like that, okay. So we can use kind of a WebSocket. Real time we are using WebSocket. So why we have to use WebSocket, right? So it will be like a WebSocket is combined than any other protocol. So it is very faster than normal other applications. So we can use any WebSocket. And second thing is the user is offline, right? So we have to send a push notification to using Firebase or some other things. So most probably we are going for Firebase push notification this one.
Okay, just one thing, like as you told, there will be a PubSub system where like well, let's say someone likes on some photo or some post, that event will be like pushed into a let's say some kind of a event-driven architecture, like some kind of it will be published somewhere. Then who will subscribe to it? The client will directly subscribe.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not like the client will is a message. Okay, for example, like I have commented this one, right? So it will come from the post service, okay, because the command will things everything will come from the post service and it will get to the user service, right? So the user service will get to the notification using like Firebase or client, right? So it will come there and automatically it will come to the from the user service to it will come to the load balancer and load balancer to it will come to the client page.
Okay.
So yeah, and that user then third thing is like for example, we have to store the each and every notification, right? So for later view. So we can store that information in that our database later. Like with notification ID and which user created and which type of things we have to store.
Okay, and like one more thing, Mani, like can you explain about the tables that you will have for this databases? Like what kind of tables you will have?
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so I do from here on. So for example, like each we have like multiple databases. Okay, so like the kind of user related things we have to store in the user things. Okay, so the user DB, so user related information, everything will be there. Like for example, like I'm trying to create a user, right? So we have like a user ID. Then we can use like a user name. Then email. So by default, we can request from the email, and password we have to store using like a kind of a hashing mechanism we have to use. Then, for example, use Instagram, we can have like a bio or this information. So we have to use bio related things and perfect picture URL. So because photos or videos, everything we are not going to store in a DDP, right? So we are going to store in Google's cloud services, right? So we have to upload this one, and once we upload it, it will give any kind of a URL for us. So that URL we have to store in our this one. And like a kind of when we created and when we modified all this things, when we have passed the last login all the information, so we can store in the user.
Mani, just sorry to interrupt, just give the brief about the schema that will be there. Like for the user, let's say for post, like say for the user, they only have the username and email ID and password. Let's not worry about photos and all.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. So then second thing is like a kind of a post information. So what kind of things we have to store? Like each post we have to store a post ID. It will automatically generated. Then which user ID and the media, which kind of media things we can store in the post results. Okay. So that thing is like a kind of likes tables. So which user
Guys,
is
last 5 minutes.
yes. Okay, so likes related things we can store like which user and which post like, and when we give the like all the things, and private key we can use like a user ID and post ID. The same way for the comments also. Which user is giving the comment and which poster and which content, that is type of comment. And one more thing is like kind of a view feed table is very complex here. So because like you have to store which and the video we have to see, all these things we have to maintain in this, right? So we can say like, okay, which user is seeing the information and which, what is the post ID, and whether it is like kind of a viewed or not viewed, all these things we can make it.
Okay.
And the last thing is like critical part is like kind of messages related information. So we have to store. And each message we can go like which who is the sender, where message ID and receiver and what kind of message, and whether the sent or read, all these things we have to store. Yeah. Major schemas for this.
Let's say like somebody likes on some post, like there is a post and somebody goes and likes that post, so that number of likes will be stored in the same post table, or there will be some...
We have like a kind of a separate table for likes. In the comments we have to use separate table, likes we have to give separate table, and post
Okay.
we have to give separate tables.
Okay, understood. And yeah, and at last there should be some aggregation in between. Yeah.
This is kind of thing. And like kind of we can use like each and everything to get using like a pageable information. So it's kind of a scroller based thing. So when we are reaching this scroller, so it will call pageable information too, because if we are trying to read 100 of maybe like somebody get like lots of comments, right? So it will be, we can use pageable data.
Okay. Okay, Mani, let's cover one more part that is left, like the news feed part. I think we missed that part. If you can give a short like design of how it will work.
Yeah. Okay, so what the newsfeed part is like a kind of already we said like so how we are going to see that newsfeed, right? So we have like kind of separate different algorithms to get this, right? So for example, like if you are seeing the YouTube or Instagram or this, right? So it will based on the kind of location based application. So each user we get the based on the followers or likes or this, right? So that also we will get the information. So yeah, we will get nearby users are who are going to store all this. So we have like kind of one algorithm push model. We can like pan out and type. So what it will do? So it will from the post we can get the how many followers is to have this user, right? So from the based on that followers how the contents are viewed. So it will take the data from the feed table and it will post into the your feed service.
Okay.
So I'll give you some simple example, okay, for this, you better understanding of this. So for example, like I have logged in my user, like I have my kind of 100 followers. So I'll get the followers from the user service and my followers is okay. And based on that user service, so I got the followers, right? So and there I'm able to see the post from that followers accounts. Because everything is communicated, it's like a kind of relational database. So all we have like a kind of user ID, all these things, right? So based on that, I like command all these things. Based on I'm using some aggregations, I can able to get the data, and it will come to the my news feeds also. Most of the social media platforms working like that.
Okay, let's say don't you think it will take too much time if like there are so many database operations need to happen, tables need to be joined, and we need to find out a lot of information? Can this be somehow be optimized or?
So like kind of display we can go with kind of already in the relation database we can use like kind of indexing and using the join itself we can use the kind of indexing based on concepts. Indexing concept we can use.
Can we use like some CDN over here or?
CDN we can, so CDN also we can use.
Like some kind of pre-computation happens and the results are stored in some CDN, and based on it, like whenever the user logs in or opens their mobile application, that things that are stored in the CDN that is shown first, and later on as you refresh the new things will come.
So we can use a CDN in the Instagram application service. So because like you kind of if you are trying to read everything.
Guys, the time is over for the sessions. I think we need to stop.